to round 3 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of June 29th. I'm Nicole Erdix, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
We're moms of teens and young adults, and when it comes to parenting, we've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But we're still waiting for that day when we'll reach the finish line and have no further need to lay in a dark room with a wet rag over our eyes worrying about something or other. Wednesday is complaint day here on Parenting Roundabout, and today we are looking at that work-life balance situation and how it evolves as kids get older. And a spoiler alert, it doesn't necessarily evolve for the better. Or at least I'm learning. So yeah, just a little backstory on this topic today. I have 2 young adults at home who came home during the height of the pandemic, although I think we're experiencing that again here in California. And so while they were both, well, one was away at school and the other one was working at home and living here anyway. But so, you know what it's like. So I worked out of the house for a lot of their childhood. Like I worked in another setting for a lot of their childhood. And that was brutal because I commuted, over an hour each way to work. And then I had 10-hour days. And so that was a lot of stress. And then, of course, being a teacher, it's not a 9-to-3 job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I would bring a lot of my work home with me and I'd be marking late at night. So it was just I was on a treadmill, right? Like it was just constant. And so I always thought, well, as my kids get older, it's going to be so much easier. They can get themselves places. They can be responsible. They can take care of things. So, as it so happened, my work situation changed and then I started working from home. But I found obviously that I was still needed to drive them around until they got their licenses and such. But, I was still needed. And then I thought, okay, well, things are going to get a little bit easier once they go to university. And so my one child, she just finished her first year university and has come back home. So I'm thinking, yay, this is great because they're fine. They're totally independent. She's lived away from home for a year. She knows, she's responsible. She knows what she has to get done. My son, he's obviously fine. But I'm finding just the opposite. So I kind of relaxed on a lot of things. And now life is falling apart. Because my son, of course, is getting ready to move and leave. And so he's requiring all sorts of support and attention. My daughter is, in that whole online school, the whole kind of looking for a summer job. Wanting to be with friends but can't. So she's in this whole kind of interesting dynamic situation. And yeah, so just when I thought that I could sit at my desk, shut the door, sit at my desk and focus on my job, I am trying to really, I'm struggling I really have to pay more attention to what's going on in my house is basically what I'm saying. I really, I was hoping to pay more attention to my work now, but no, it's not the case. I'm still having to balance it out with time with my kids which is great. I'm not saying that it's not, but I thought I could just relax a little bit. But as I'm finding, when you're a parent, you never get to relax, no matter what age they're at. So.
Yeah, well, especially when you have sort of open-ended projects that have no actual deadline, but you should be working on them. A distraction you can't blame yourself for is often kind of welcome. Well, I would have gotten that writing done today, but darn, my kids needed me. And that's the kind of mom I am. Doesn't work for you? It works for me sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's a struggle. And I mean, and that's not even that's just my kids, never mind exercising and eating well and making sure that everything else is going smoothly. Because I find that if I'm focusing on my kids and everything else gets pushed to the wayside.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. How are you finding it, Catherine?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different as they get older. I mean, I remember thinking, because mine used to be in childcare, like even though I've been working from home for, I don't know, 16 years, before they were in school, they were in daycare. And I remember thinking, you know, when they transitioned to school, I'll be like, how much money am I going to have when I don't have to pay for daycare? Well, guess what? It all just goes to like soccer and skating and, you know, other stuff. And then, you know, yeah, like you said, now that they're older and they're certainly more independent, but they are needy in new and different ways.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like with the digital learning, like I was working all during the time when my son and both my kids were supposed to be doing their digital learning from home. And, you know, one of them totally wasn't doing it. And I really had to, you know, sit side by side with them and make sure they did it. And I had to not be working. You know, I couldn't do that and work at the same time. That doesn't work. So it was not easy. So, and that's just one weird example like that. That's, let's hope not happening again. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's more, I don't know, emotional or psychological need versus physical hands-on. You know, like you're not bathing them, but you're making sure they take a shower every couple of days. Things like that.
Yeah.
So.
Like in some cases, I feel like I'm parenting just as much now as what I was when they were toddlers because it's just constant. It's like, you know, when you bowl and you take your kids bowling and they have those little guardrails that pop up on the side bumpers. Of the little lane. Yeah, the bumpers. I feel like I'm providing bumpers like every step of the way to help them get to their goal. So it's exhausting, and then I don't feel like I want to sit down and work. So there's no balance.
Right.
I don't know. Terry, I mean, you worked as your children were younger. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when I was working outside the house, but more of that time I was working from home and had very flexible schedules. Even when I was working in an office, some of the time I was able to get off early to go pick kids up from school, and, you know, then I would finish up the work late at night. So I don't know. I feel like I balanced stuff pretty well when they were younger. I was very, very lucky in that my husband had a job that was really close to home. I mean, he was in walking distance from home, and he had a schedule where he went in very early and then he got off early. So he was around, you know, mid-afternoon, you know, till the end of the day. So if I needed to do something, he was there, and he's very good with the hands-on stuff. I was, you know, the bigger picture. All right, how am I going to fight for this thing they need in special education, or which therapist are we going to choose for speech and this and all that stuff? But he would do the picking up, dropping off, you know, making sure homework got done. He would be responsible for a lot of that stuff. So that helped a huge amount. You know, and that's where we got into the thing of him cooking, which is great, which still lasts now, even though those early circumstances no longer apply. But now, you know, I think I'm maybe past the point where they need this sort of more intensive young adult parenting that you're having to deal with, Nicole. You know, I should not say that because then something will happen. I was just going to say, I think what has happened is that we have moved past the place where they will accept it from me. So I can still sit in my room and fret about it, but, you know, if I try to approach with it, they're sort of done with me. You know, they're like, go work, Mom. I know you have a lot of work. That's fine. Go do your work. And it's like, okay, I'll go do my work. And I have, you know, a ton of work at the moment. So it's very easy for me to say, you know what, that thing that I think needs me fluttering around it like a nervous butterfly, I'm put that off till tomorrow. I'm going to get these deadlines taken care of. So right now, the work-life balance has swung all the way over into work. And the life stuff I am asking other people to deal with, they are not necessarily, but I have seeded it for the moment. Now, that doesn't mean that something couldn't happen that will require my 24/7 attention and anxiety, but, you know, I really feel like, you know, if I notice something is going on with my son and I try to do something, he's like, go back to work. It's fine. Stop. And, you know, my daughter will occasionally come to me with something, but then if I start to expound, as is my way, she's like, no, that's okay. So it's like they have outgrown me, I think, to some degree for the moment. I mean, after some truly rough patches through the 20s that did require a great deal of energy and supervision and, you know, endless worrying from me. We'll see. Maybe the 30s will be. I'll need to swing back into action, but yeah, I feel like there's less and less ground for me to tread. Now, if my, you know, you know, there's still life changes ahead for them that will swing my balance back in their direction. But they are not on the near horizon.
Right.
And that's fine. Because I got a lot of work to do, so that's cool. Y'all don't have any problems, okay? Bye. Yes. I'm trying not to micromanage the fact that my son went from 3 jobs to 0, and will they come back? Should I be doing something? Should I be getting him another job? And I say that, and my husband and my son both said, stop doing that. So for the moment, I am stopping doing that. I have let them both know that there will be a time where I will no longer be able to do that. But for the moment, I got work. Doing my work. The balance is on the work side. The life side's just swinging off there to the side. Boy, I sound like I'm setting myself up for a crisis, don't I?
Yeah. Don't speak too quickly.
God's going, oh, wait a minute. You need something?
Let's fix
It's fine.
that for you.
Fine. Everything's fine. It's good. We're good. Well, before I get myself into any more trouble, let me say that this is it for today's round 3. Tune in tomorrow when we'll talk about helping stressed out kids, and then on Friday to see what we've come up with for our Roundabout Roundup picks this week. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there on our Facebook page or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.